Unlock the door, bitch. I'm on my way, and I got chicken strips.
I don't know why they call them chasers. It's not like Chubs can run real fast.
Double vodka with hot brownie chasers.
She just wanted to watch me eat it naked.
I can't say that. That's dirty.
Chasers will do anything to get into your pants. I love them.
Stop it! Stop!
Oh, God.
Chubs gone wild.
So 506, that's 506, recorded on April 7th, 2023. Did you ever think that we'd get to 506 episodes?
Oh, episodes. No.
No. Well, yeah, not episodes, but other things. Been there.
Yeah,
Possibly done that.
I mean, I didn't get that close, but was it a possibility? Absolutely.
Yes, well, I did, and let's just say it's not something I ever want to do again.
Oh, that was the other thing that was weird.
Hmm.
Saturday night at the comedy club,
Uh-huh.
I wasn't even close to being the biggest people there. One of the biggest people there.
Oh, that's lovely. Well, when
I
I
was-
talked about Cortero, I was.
Really? How many out of 20,000 seats?
Well, it was reduced because of the way that they put the stage, which I'll talk about, but man, the stage was really neat the way they set it up. But yeah, I mean there were a few other big people, but I only saw like two others that were close to being as big as I was. So I think everybody else had probably been there before and said, "Yeah, I'm not sitting in those little seats."
Yeah, are they small? I have never been there.
You know, actually, yes, but it wasn't uncomfortable. I mean, you would fit fine, but they're so close together, and the seats in front, even though they're like kind of lower,
Yeah.
are so close. Like I think Clint was more uncomfortable than I was.
Well,
So
that's because if I know from my personal experiences, because I was flopping onto his side of the chair too.
yeah,
were you
there
on the-
was a little of that.
Were you on a row? I mean, on the
I was on the end of the aisle.
Oh,
So I
thank
had a little bit of spillover in,
yeah.
but for the most part, I mean, I wasn't that uncomfortable, but he was stuck in the, between me and then another person who was actually kind of thinner. So, but I just told him at one point, I said, you just got to get over it and just let yourself go. Just be like, you know what? I'm going to be slamming into, it's like we've known each other 27, 28 years, whatever. Just let it go, girl.
Yeah, I refer to the aisle seat as the seat where the cart is going to ram you in the back of the shoulder constantly. Because on airplanes,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
you watch them push through, and you can just hear because it's not just me. I mean, everybody's kind of taking advantage of that aisle lean, and when that cart comes through, oh, it can hurt. It can hurt.
Yeah. Well, thankfully there was no aisle, but man, let me tell you, it when I first started going down there, I was clutching onto those rails, trying to make sure that I was not gonna just because the steps seemed just a little bit like lower than you expected, and then it was really steep.
Yeah,
So
I've
other
been
people are just like practically running down the aisle without even holding on the railing, and I'm like clutching to both sides of whatever rail I could, being like, "No, I'm not going down."
well, the fear of heights comes into play because I could just see myself tumbling.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that was freaky, but we were actually at the very back. The only things that were above us, because there was like a wall that went up high, a little higher than our heads, and then the wheelchairs were back up there. So we were in the back, which was actually, for however they set it up, was really good. I mean, we had a great view still. So I don't know. I mean, but once I got over the initial, because like I spent the first 20 minutes or so that we were there, like contemplating how the fuck I'm going to get back up out of this fucking seat
As
and
we
make
do.
sure that I'm not in people, not holding up the traffic, but that I'm clutching on to anything I can for dear life and how I'm going to maneuver myself. And I'm like going through all the scenarios trying to make sure. But yeah, I mean, it was a total fat boy moment. So,
Yeah, this is strange. Sean we were trying to figure out what to do on our vacation in San Diego, and
Mhm.
they've got 3 different San Diego ghost tours,
Hmm.
but they're all walking.
Oh,
And I said yes.
good.
Oh my God, I'm terrified. Because
Uh,
it's not going to just be walking, it's also going to be stopping and listening to ghost stories. And that's where I think I'm going to get killed.
right.
Yeah,
Well,
because
I'll tell you the one thing that I would warn you about, although you're great now. I mean, you're going to be able to do that no problem, but it wasn't, I ended up having to walk like, about a half a block each way because we got dropped off. So that was all good. The thing that killed me was the parking garage because the parking was on the third floor and I had to go up steps. And it wasn't just like, you know, 10 steps and then another and then turn and then another 10 steps. It was like 10 steps, turn 20 steps steep with a throng of people behind me going, oh, great, we're stuck behind a fat guy who's holding on to both rails for dear life, waddling himself up the thing. And so I had to do the whole, like, slow traffic car on the dirt road where you have to find a place to pull over and let everybody go by.
yeah, yeah,
Oh, but I'll tell you, when I got to the third
floor.
thing where they were parked. I didn't know they were parked there because they parked the car while we had gone in. Um, so when I got to the third car, I'm like texting, going, "Okay, did y'all say third floor or third set of stairs? Because if I have to go up another fucking set of stairs, it's not going to be pretty." And I'm like gasping for breath. Um, and uh finally they were like third level, so I was like, oh god, thank god I'm here. But one of them said, I was about to text you back and say 15th, and I'm like, yeah, that would have been your last day. So yeah, yours
Well,
are mine, one or the other.
yeah,
'Cause-
we went to a street fair, but it was not a street fair. It was
oh
a
yeah.
parking lot fair. And they had the fair on the top of the parking structure, and they didn't have an elevator working. And it was 4 or 5 stories high.
Mm-hmm.
And I finally, I don't think I ever told you this because I think I've told you the story before.
Mm-hmm.
So, I had to walk up all the stairs, and my watch only gave me credit for 1 flight of steps, which pissed me.
Oh,
But I did ask, what do you do when people come, that are handicapped? Well, they can just go the same way the cars do because it's a ramp the whole way up. So they can just
right.
take that all the way up. And it's like, okay, yeah, that's great.
Yeah. So we'll
Yeah,
just add an extra mile, but save yourself the heart attack going up the stairs.
sure. And what happens if they're by themselves and they're not an electric,
Oh yeah, that's a
yeah,
good point too. Yeah. Or what if they're on a using a walker? Yeah, fuck that.
yeah,
I'm sorry, whatever you got on that roof, it ain't enough.
yeah. And then it was hot.
Mm, mm,
Not
mm-mm.
enough shade because they never think of, well, nowadays a lot of new parking structures have the entire top floor covered in solar panels, which is smart.
Oh, okay. Huh.
This place did not. But I'm thinking, well, that would have been nice. Free shade, and you're making power at the same time. Oh, no, you're just into organic food. Fuck you people.
Ugh. and all that for organic. But well, no wonder they didn't care. Oh, you could just walk a mile. This fuck is it? No, fuck you. It's all fucking vegans who, although I would think they'd be weak, but never mind. I don't want to stereotype. Anyway, it is currently 102 and sunny outside the Chubs Gone Wild remote studios, or at least why is it's on its way to 102. Where it is 28 days till Labor Day, 66 until Canadian Thanksgiving, 85 till Halloween, and 140 until Christmas. So after 140 days, you'll be at the top of the thing so that you can buy some Christmas veggies for your people. Don't worry, coming down is easier because you can just slide right down the stairs.
Yeah, if your knees are up for it.
Uh,
No, did you see the weather I sent you? The 118 next Wednesday. It's down to 111 now.
Well, that's good. That's something, I guess.
It's taking the big slide. You'll have to let me know how this is because I will not be in town.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because most of the week is over 100 so far that I'm gone.
Yeah. Well, August needs its recognition time because we're all looking toward the Halloween decorations that are starting to pop up in different places, and August is saying, "Hey, wait, you gotta honor me, or else." Yeah. Speaking of Halloween, our Halloween contest. Anyone who sends us anything, an email, a Facebook message, or a comment, a voice message, send us lunchbox pics. He will be entered into the Halloween contest, which will be sent out. What? Go ahead.
Any dick pics yet?
No.
Okay.
Miss Bacon is not responding.
And that can't be Bacon. Come
I
on.
know. Although we did get a very lovely message from Kathy Bacon, but it was not for the show, so I will share that a bit later. Yeah, and you'll be getting the package before Halloween, so you can enjoy all the fun festivities of it before the day. Which, if you're on Patreon, well, guess what? It offers folks a way to support creators and receive rewards not open to the general public, like special podcasts, books, videos, and more, including My Life in Fragments podcast, which has been, you're getting a few more episodes than usual because of all the stuff going on with the moms and stuff. But we want to thank our current patrons, Clint, Nephi, Nick, DJ Stasich, Ramza Univas, Eric, Sean, Charles, Brother Sinatus, Phoenix Dave, Kingsley, and Moose P. And y'all are going to be getting some more stories and stuff coming down the pike here shortly as well. So hopefully some fun stuff for you. Visit patreon.com/Matt Burlingame for as little as $1 a month. Find out how you can support our creative projects. All right. You're switching up a little bit today. It's time for the affirmation. Please take a deep breath and join me. I now feel my body getting healthier and my mind more optimistic. And breathe out.
It's true.
It is, actually. It is. So that was a good one. Hopefully, one that my mom is taking advantage of right now. All right.
Well, and speaking of that, I was just telling you before we started recording that I'm growing hair on my body again. Oh, I also have belly hair.
Oh,
I never had belly hair. My stomach was always smooth. I had pec hair, chest hair and arm hair and very little leg hair, but now it's coming back and it's weird.
Yeah, it's weird, I guess maybe it's the follicles or whatever, but as you expand, your hair doesn't seem to be there. And then when you shrink, there it is. Case in point, well, your husband. He was hairy before, now he is, he's a Temu wig. And that's not a bad thing.
Well, it's not a good thing. I've seen it. Oh, oh,
Okay, we'll assume you're talking about the team at Wig.
yes.
All right. Let's see. In history, on August 7th, 1782, in Newburgh, New York, General George Washington, the commander-in-chief of the Continental Army, creates the Badge for Military Merit, a decoration consisting of a purple heart-shaped piece of silk edged with a narrow binding of silver, which the word merit, with the word merit stitched across the face of the silver. The badge was to be presented to soldiers for any singularly meritorious action and permitted its wearer to pass guards and sentinels without challenge. The honoree's name and regiment were also inscribed in the Book of Merit. So there you go. All right. Well, since we're traveling through history, let's take a quick look at any holidays that we may have accidentally celebrated without even knowing it. Like National Sea Serpent Day. Yeah, hell no. Didn't do that one. Nope.
I
Land,
did.
sea, air. I don't want it. Nope, no serpents for me.
I was watching Scaries today, and there was one about Bogo Pogo, I think is what it's called. It's an Australian sea serpent,
Ugh,
uh,
yeah.
which is funny because that was a dance in Strictly Ballroom, was the Bogo Pogo.
Mm,
And so, but it's, yeah, they said it's some kind of creature that's a water-based creature. So just sharing, just sharing. Go ahead.
yeah. Another reason to stay out of the Australian water. Mhm.
Oh yeah, why go to Australia at all? Big ass spiders. I mean, we're
Ugh,
talking spiders the size of like
Felix.
furniture.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, not gonna happen. I don't want to go. And
Giant spiders, deadliest snakes.
oh, and
No,
those weird
thank
ass
you.
birds, that
Kangaroos that just walk up and like kick you. Ugh,
no, they punch you. They punch you.
well that too. So,
Yeah.
anyway, it is also Aged Care Employee Day. Oh, speaking of Australia, that's what they have in Australia. It's a very Australia Day. Also, Beach Party Day. Nope, didn't do that. National Lighthouse Day. No, not on the horizon.
I
Uh,
know something that looks like a lighthouse that had a day today, but
oh, hello. Particularly Preposterous Packaging Day.
Amazon.
Mm, made up holiday. Professional Speakers. Purple Heart Day. Well, we just talked about that, so very interesting and timely. And also Raspberries and Cream Day. Yeah, no, thank you. You know what I've been wanting? I've been wanting a Boston cream cake.
Oh,
Yeah, but I only know one place that sells them, and it's too expensive. Did you
I froze.
freeze? Yes, you froze.
But
Well,
I do agree with you that they're very expensive over at that particular place.
yes. And the risk that you take is that by the time you get it home and everything, that the cream it'll be one where the cream split. In fact, I got I got a Bavarian cream donut from Walmart, and the outside of it and everything was like it was just looking fresh and chocolatey and beautiful. And you opened up, the cream looked great, but the cream split, and it tasted. It was just, I mean, it tasted fine, but it was curdled, and I'm like, come on, people, it's fucking cream. Get it together. All right. Well, let's see if we have any birthdays that we have uh, coming up here. Well, today, happy birthday to Jason, who is also a fellow podcaster, and to Sean Z, who he used to run. Oh, that doesn't sound right. I was going to say he used to run cons, but that doesn't sound right. He used to run like Comic Con type things. So very, very cool. Also, to a long lost relative who I recently found, Adrian. Um, and then we have David. And wait a minute, hold on. Yes, upcoming. Jason, Kimberly. Oh, we used to act with her, that Kimberly Marshall. She's quite amazing. We have Stewie, Anthony, and Tracy. Big local theater woman, retired. Then we have Daniel Leaf or Life, depending on how you pronounce it. I have not heard. We have that Simon George, that little puppy, so cute. Usal, really hope I'm pronouncing that at least close to correctly. Diane Tiberius, Richard Hallmark, who you might remember as a fashionista. He was on one of the, not Make It Cut. What's the?
Yeah, I mean, Project
Yes.
Runway.
Yes, Project Runway. Thank you. We also have David, Joey, Jason, and that local hottie with works on Volkswagens, little Stefan. Known him for quite a while. And then we have Sean, and Sean, who was an actor in the show Recovery Mode in New York. I wrote the show. They did it in New York, in Buffalo, and he was in it, and he was just quite amazing. So, all right. Well, we'll just wait on that. Happy birthday, everybody! Sing the song. Sing it. Okay.
It's
We'll
my mother-in-law's birthday today.
Really? How old is she? It's
Um,
not polite to ask a woman's age. Shut up. How old is she?
I think she's like 10 years older than me.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, that's not very old.
No,
Still a spry chicken.
I mean, she's probably right around your mom's age.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. All right. Well, let's see. What's in the feed bag? Well, Nephi wrote in. I know it's a miracle, but he wrote in and he said to me, it was Al Capone's vault, not Jimmy Hoffa. I watched it live with my dad.
He's right.
Yes. After he said that, I was like, oh yeah. Oh well.
Now, Jimmy Hoffa was in the vault and somewhere else. Now, actually, they say that he is probably in the cement that was poured for this one building. They threw the body in and they poured the cement, and then the next day the cement was all poured, and they're like, okay, keep going, let's go. And it's like no one said, hey, I thought we were pouring the cement today. Oh well, less work for me.
Well, I just remember that joke that Joan Rivers used to do, where she'd go. She said, "I went to the gynecologist, and it'd been so long. He opened me up, and he said, "Oh my God, there's Jimmy Hoffa." Yeah. Anyway, Nephi continues. Hey Tom, please tell us more about meeting Pee Wee Herman.
Oh, I was. Did I talk about it at all?
You said that you were working at
The Chinese theater.
Yeah,
It was. I want to say it was the summer of whatever summer that Pee-wee's Big Adventure came out, and so what had happened was my friend was running the theater, and he said, "Come on down, take some pictures." And it was kind of fun because I got to be in the paparazzi, the press section, right at the when everyone was coming in, and I was the only person to get a picture of Eddie Murphy when he came in for the show. which was because he was kind of covered, when he came
Okay.
through. And then and when he took off whatever he had over his head, I caught a picture of him. So I was very proud of that. But no, afterwards I got to go to the party after the show.
Huh?
I did sit up in the Sid um
Caesar?
uh, Sid's box, which is the owner, or the guy who did the Chinese theater. He had a
Okay.
special box for where celebrities could go, but of course all the celebrities were in the theater.
Right.
So we were up there in the thing, and then afterwards we went to the party, and Pee Wee came around, because it was his big night, so he was coming around and introducing himself to everybody, and I got to meet him, and he was just such a nice, you could tell that he was a legitimately nice guy, and he was thrilled to be in the situation that he was in, and he appreciated the what was going on. He wasn't one of those people who find fame and then run with it. He was like,
Yeah.
yeah, it was very nice. But and he was one of amongst hundreds, really. I was surprised how many celebrities showed up for these events, but there were a lot of them, a lot of people.
Oh,
And I did see David Lee Roth leaving on the back of a convertible. And I always tell that story because it's like I saw him coming in on the back of the convertible, sitting up, because it was in a parking structure again.
okay.
And it was I saw him driving in with him on the back like he's in some fucking parade. And then on the way home, he was face down on the back of the convertible, and they were taking him out. So that was kind of funny. I guess he had a good time.
Neat. Okay, cool. Thank you for talking more about that. That's really cool. Yeah, Paul Rubens, I've been watching some of the stuff that like Kathy Griffin and Corey Feldman and stuff have been posting about him, and how he, like, when you were a friend of his, he like would just bombard you all day long on your birthday, and he would send out like the zaniest Christmas cards, and just like was one of those people that was just a genuine amazing person to know.
Yeah.
So I love that. Something that I, aspire to, but one day. All right. Well, let's see what we got next. We got Chub hugs, and I want to send a Chub hug out to my mom, who is currently in the rehab facility, working to get stronger so that she can get home. I'll talk a little bit more about that later. How about you?
I can't think of anything else but your mom being in the rehab center now.
Oh,
So,
well,
so it's a double chub hug out to mom.
well, she would appreciate that. Yeah. All right, celebrity news. Well, oh my God, The Bachelorette star Gabby Windley of Gabby and Rachel season
Oof,
comes out as queer and reveals
thank
that she's
God.
dating comedian and writer Robbie Hoffman. You know what? I'm not surprised. And frankly, I think she'd probably be better off as queer.
Well, you have to wonder on these shows that if they can't deal with whether it's the Bachelorette or the Bachelor or the Bachelorette, if they can't deal with the opposite sex,
Yeah.
which none of them seem to be able to, I
Mm.
think they're all queer.
You
Or
know,
they would be happier if they were.
uh, yeah. And I'm just waiting for Jesse to come out as queer, so, and Big Chaser, so I can have I don't know, whatever the latest chub in Hollywood is, beat me to it. So anyway, I think he's a nice guy. I'm not super, super attracted to him, but I certainly wouldn't kick him out of bed. And I think he's an amazing host. I mean, when it's that last rose and he walks all the way out there and says, "Well, everyone, it's the last rose," and then walks back behind the stage, I'm like, wow, you earned your $1,000,000.
Well, and I could just see you after you don't get the rose, and you
Uh,
go say your goodbyes, and then you go over there and throw yourself into his arms. Goodbye, Jesse. Goodbye. Well,
I
don't you
love
want to say
you
anything
most
to
of all.
Charity? Fuck her. I love you, Jesse. Take me home. Forget about your wife.
Exactly. Yeah, that would be me. Yeah. Causing scandal everywhere I go. Yeah. Well, we'll talk about charity in a little bit, but so yeah, so congrats, Gabby. She found herself a nice butch woman. So yeah. All right. Neo is apologizing to the LGBT plus community for his recent comments about children discovering their gender identity. After much reflection, I'd like to express my deepest apologies to anyone that I may have hurt with my comments on parenting and gender identity. I've always been an advocate for the love and inclusivity of the LGBT plus community, so I understand how my comments could have been interpreted as insensitive and offensive. All I saw was he said something about like indulging children in gender or something is like, how they are indulging them in candy or something like that. I don't know. But whatever. Thanks for the apology. All right, some celebrity deaths going on. Sharon Farrell died at 82 in May. She's known for the Young and the Restless, which she starred on from 91 to 97. Mark Margolis, best known for playing Hector on Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, died on August. Yes, what he said. Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul died on August 3rd at age 83. Mark Gilpin, who played Sean Brody in Jaws 2, died July 27th after a battle with brain cancer. He was 56. Adrian Street, a Welsh wrestler, died at 82 on July 31st. Angus Cloud, the star of Euphoria, died July 31st of an apparent suicide 1 week after he buried his father. Cloud was only 25. Bill Cunningham, who provided the original singing voice of the Ken doll in the Barbie record world, died at age 96. In 1961, he toured with Judy Garland. William Friedkin, the famed filmmaker who directed The Exorcist, has died. He also directed the Oscar-winning French Connection,
which he won the Oscar for Best Director.
Yeah.
It won Best Picture, he won Best Director. And what's interesting is the movie, the movie he made right before the French Connection?
The Exorcist?
No, that was right after. He had a really good run. He directed Boys in the Band.
Oh.
Then the French Connection, and then The Exorcist. So yeah, he was on a roll.
Sure,
and equally famous for all three of them. That's what's kind of cool. Because really, when it comes down to people like directors, because actors we kind of feel like we know them, but directors, when you can say, oh yeah, he directed this movie, that movie, and that movie, and you go, wow. He really that's really, because you don't have it's not all hits, girl. It's not all hits.
Right.
And if you actually probably have seen quite a few of his movies over the years too. And that was funny because that was 69 through 73, those three movies. So
wow, and very different ones too.
Very.
All right. John Gosling, the former keyboardist for the Kinks, died at 75. Broadway actor Clifton Oliver died on August 2nd at the age of 47 of an undisclosed illness. Oliver made his mark on stage portraying Simba in The Lion King.
So yeah, he was young.
Far, far too young.
Yeah.
All right. So, okay. Next up, Tom wants to talk to you about.
Well, let me tell you about my watching this week. Let's see, on The Righteous Gemstones, we had the season finale and everything. It's weird. It ended like it was a series finale.
Uh-oh.
but it's not, because they already
Oh,
been renewed for season 4. But you know, in the episode before, they did have the big gay kiss between the younger brother and his now
boyfriend?
boyfriend. So
Oh,
that was kind of sweet.
uh,
And like I said, totally expected, but you didn't know that they'd ever get to that point. So
mm,
that was fun. On Claim to Fame, we uncovered, we thought that the person was going to be Jeff Gordon's relative, but it turned out that it wasn't Jeff Gordon's relative. So the person who said it was Jeff Gordon's relative to that person ended up being uncovered as Jenny McCarthy's niece. So and I'm kind of looking at that going, so that's the least famous person we had so far, as
well,
far as
isn't
this
that
season.
isn't she the one who became a who is a an anti-vaxxer?
Well, you mean Jenny McCarthy?
Yeah,
Yeah, she's a anti-vaxxer and has been for a long time.
yeah.
She's, you know, she's also a Mass Singer, judge, and she's in the one of my favorite comedy films ever, which was Dirty Love, which she starred in.
Well,
So
and that's the thing is she's a great performer, actress, whatever, but I'm sorry, the nutball stuff that came out of her mouth,
yeah, yeah.
so
I
much
just remember
respect
she was
lost.
on, was it The View or one of those shows? She was on one of those shows, and she just turned into a nut job.
Yeah,
It's bad, because I always liked her as an actress, but you know, she's weird. And let's see. We'll be talking about Bachelorette later. Big Brother started up. This we've had 2 episodes. I didn't get to see last night's episode yet,
mm,
but I'll see it tonight. But the first episode was fun. We first of all, I found out that I have way too many boyfriends on the show already. Well, I mean, it's not going to get any more, but the guys are cute. I'll just tell
yeah.
you that. There's one gay guy who's a doctor, and
Oh,
he's really nice looking and stuff, but it's the guy, and I want to say his name is like Patrick Valentine or something like that. And he is totally cute. And then there's others that it's a nice mix. I won't mind spending the next 100 days with them.
nice.
Uh, and then under the suggestion, after the suggestion, a suggestion by one of our listeners, Timothy,
Yes.
I started watching Big Brother VIP Australia, and this is their celebrity version of Big
Okay.
Brother, and they have Caitlyn Jenner on there. And so that's interesting. First of all, you know, she's 72,
Yeah.
and she looks great. And it's funny because the host, when she first got there, she goes, okay, you're 72, how do you look this good? And she goes, honey, come to Hollywood and I'll hook you up.
Uh-huh.
Um so which is fine, I have no problem with that.
Right.
But it was interesting because they were talking about her being transgender, and
Mm.
she used the example of, okay, are you right-handed or left-handed? And both people she was talking to said they were right-handed. She goes, well, I'm left-handed, but when I was in school, I was pushed to be right-handed because that made it easier on the teachers.
That's an
Because,
interesting.
you know, when you're teaching cursive, if you're right-handed, everything slants a little differently than it does when it's left-handed.
Yeah.
So she was talking about that, and she says it's the same thing. We are, you know, we, our heads tell us that you look like a boy, so you must be a boy, instead of
Mm.
letting me find out if I'm a boy or not. But and it was a really interesting talk, and I thought it was really nice. And I'm looking forward to this. It's only, the thing is with the celebrity ones, I first of all, I know Omarosa and Caitlyn Jenner. There's the only two I know on the show. All the
Mm.
rest are famous Australian people that oddly enough I haven't heard of.
Hmm.
I thought that I would have heard of them. I
Yeah.
haven't. So, you know, it's like soccer player and models and, you know, some musical people. So, looking forward to the rest of that. with the celebrities, it only runs for a few weeks instead of 3 months like ours does, our regular Big Brother. So but we're finding out some interesting things, and that's really what these things, when you get the celebrities in the Big Brother house,
Mhm.
it's more like now we really want to listen in, and
Right.
hear what they're
Yeah.
talking about. So thank you, Timothy. And let's see, Tough as Nails finished. They had their finale last night. Well, they had their finale we watched last night. And it was and the guy who won was pretty cute. Pretty cute. I'll just say that. A
Okay.
lot of times, well, they're doing all these hard jobs, so he got really sweaty all the time, but he was still pretty cute. Sweaty stuff, just I don't like. I sweat.
Yeah.
I don't like getting sweaty. It's gross. I
Mhm.
mean, there's
You're right.
times where it's appropriate, but
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
yeah. Let's see. Finished up watching Adam Richman's Adam Eats the '80s, which was on Hulu. The last episode was talking about the cola wars of the '80s. That's where the new Coke came out, and everyone hated it. So
Yeah.
they brought back the classic Coke, and yeah, it was just a lot of ugliness, went on. And Pepsi was it was all because Pepsi had brought out a new Coke, a new Pepsi, and it was doing really well. So Coke wanted to do because they were starting to creep up on Coke's numbers.
Yeah.
But I'm happy to say that still Coke and Diet Coke are number 1 and 2 in the nation. I'm a Coke guy.
Mm,
Um,
I've
uh,
heard.
hey, I'm not that kind of Coke guy. Anyway, still watching After Party over on Apple TV with Tiffany Haddish. Um, that's kind of cool. There's a show that was on, I want to say it was Travel, called Destination Fear, about these 4 kids, not kids, 20 somethings, I
Mhm.
would think. It was a brother and sister and their 2 best friends, and they would go from scary place to scary place and see how scared they could get. That was their whole thing, to see how scared they could get. And it ran for I think 4 years on Travel, and they canceled it, but now they're on YouTube doing the same show, but now it's twice as long. They don't have to fit into that hour time slot. And
Yeah.
so and actually the Katrina, I can't think of her last name, she's been on all sorts of these different shows through the years. Now she's doing her own thing on that as well, but she's doing them in 20-minute time blocks, so she'll have part 1, part 2, and part 3 type thing. So good. I'm really happy that they're finding places in the YouTube world to do scary things. um let's see, started watching season 3, I'm sorry, of Reservation Dogs over on Hulu, which is about these kids growing up on a Indian
Reservation.
reservation.
Yeah.
Can we still call it Indian reservation?
That's what I've heard, but Native
Okay, well, we'll call it that until someone corrects us, and I know they
American.
will. So we'll wait for that.
Yeah.
But
Let us know.
it's a really interesting show. The first season, it was so funny because I really wasn't liking it,
Mhm.
because it was just so, so negative, and it's supposed to be a comedy, and I wasn't finding any humor in any of it. And then they brought in all these characters, like they have a spirit Indian, all dressed up with his war clothes on and riding a horse, and he's got the feathers in his hair, and he shows up whenever Bear is having Bear, who is one of the kids, is having a moment, and he always tries to inspire him, and he's hilarious. And then there's the deer lady, who we're not sure exactly what she does, but she was like hitchhiking. That was weird. We're watching the scene. She's hitchhiking, and this car pulls up, and as she's getting into the car, we notice that she's got hooves. And so that was kind of cool.
Huh.
So I finally had some reason to watch, because now it's paranormal. So um watching that. Anyway, Futurama, they're having
Oh
their
yeah.
it's on Hulu as well. and it is well, the first episode was them talking about how every show that's been canceled 3 times should come back for at least a fourth time and give a full season of what's going on with these characters. And that was the whole running gag through the whole show. It was really funny. Actually, it's not their fourth season, it's their fourth time back. Let's
Yeah.
see. Heartstoppers is back on Netflix, which is season 2. Lovely little British gay romance of 2 high schooler boys and their friends. Really, the first season was great. Olivia Colman plays the mother of one of the kids. I'm trying to give you some reason to start watching this.
I know it's in.
So I'm teasing you with Olivia Colman, so you watch.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah, because she's your Hollywood girlfriend now.
My spirit guide. Yes.
Let's see. Astral City, which is the God, what is his name? Yeah, Asteroid City. What is his name? The director I don't usually like. Anyway, it's coming to Peacock next week. Next Friday. It's on Peacock. So if you missed it at the theater, which most people did, it's there now. Let's see. I did see Kyle Kinane at the Punchline this weekend. He is an actor. I mean a stand-up that I just started. I started hearing about him when he was on At Midnight, which was the little game show that they had with comedians at midnight on Comedy Central, and really liked him. Kept hearing him on other people's podcasts and stuff. So it was fun seeing him. He had 3 people ahead of him, and they were all good. It was really nice having a real solid. Everybody had a good set, so that was nice. And then last night I saw this Chinese stand-up female, and I can never say her first name correctly, but her last name is Summers. She's very she plays the everything racist card constantly throughout the thing, and she's not calling other people racist, she's being racist and talking about stereotypes and stuff. And it was, for the most part, it was really funny, but it was interesting how she would go, so where are my gays? And then she'd say something and then they shut down. Okay. It's like she would offend the person she called out and then go on to the next person to offend. So I think her transitions need work, and she's got to stop laughing at herself. But she was good, and the 2 guys before her were both good, both out of San Francisco. One guy was Vietnamese, and the other guy was black stand-up, and he was gay, and he was pretty dirty, and that was fun. He was the guy. He opened the show. He was the host for the day, so that was good. So comedy twice in the week. It was a busy week. It's funny. We walked in last night, and the guy goes, "Oh, is this your first time here?" And Sean goes, "No, we were here last night too." Okay, so that was fun. And then I saw 2 movies this week. I saw Super Mario Brothers, which is on Peacock right now, and I was bored with it. It was really boring. I don't know the game well enough, and Sean said that really wouldn't matter. It was just boring. The end of the show got better, the last half hour. And the thing is, it wasn't that long, but the last half hour was enough. There was enough action and stuff to keep things going, and it did have Chris Pratt in it. He plays the voice of Mario. And you know how I hate him, so that had nothing to do with me not liking the show. But you know what was really good about it? The animation was like the best I think I've ever seen. Better, as good, if not better than Pixar. It was good. It was really well made. And then I also saw Transformers: Rise of the Beast, which is on Paramount Plus. And that was not too bad. It was good. It was entertaining.
I liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was yeah, it was entertaining, like I said, and I like the addition of the Pete Davidson Mirage character.
Yes.
I
Well,
thought he was pretty funny.
not to belabor the point, but once again, here is a great diverse cast that it was a great movie,
Yeah.
you know?
So yeah, so that's about it for the week. My tomatoes are finally starting to, I mean, I've got so many red tomatoes or so many green tomatoes on one plant. It's insane. And my figs are finally starting to come in.
Mm.
I mean, the tree is covered with figs. They're just not ripening. And I got two off yesterday. The squirrels or the birds, I'm not sure which one got three. I got two. So I figured that was fair.
Well, you gotta get them ripened and get them in so that you can get them ready for your Christmas figgy pudding.
Well, the thing is that they do dry really nicely, and then you can rehydrate them, or you freeze them. You can freeze them and just use them. They do get really mushy when you freeze them and defrost them. But if you're making figgy pudding, it shouldn't really matter.
Yeah.
Do you like figgy pudding?
You know what? I've honestly I've never had it.
That's good.
I
That's
don't
good.
know.
Well,
Um,
everyone hates figs, but yet they love fig Newtons.
yeah, I don't get that because
Yeah.
I like as far as I know, I like figs just fine. You know what I really liked was my friend Shafina sent me, who's stationed overseas. She sent me several boxes of dates that were like grown along the well shit now I can't remember the
Nile?
no, not the Nile, the river in Jerusalem, you know that the the big biblical river.
The Nile?
No, you have to read the Bible to get it. But um anyway, but they're just I mean, though, I think they were probably possibly the best dates I've ever tasted. They were just
You
really.
had some pretty tasty dates.
I sure did. I ate them all. Well, almost all of them.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, the shows that we watched together, there's just one this week, as far as I know, which was Bachelorette Hometowns. Yes, it's time for the hometowns when a charity goes to 4 different cities in a week and able to meet the loves of her life's family, where they can all, well, in this one, actually, they treated her pretty decently, except for that uncle. It was, which one of them? Which one?
That was Joey's.
Joey, the white guy. Eh. But Joey's uncle, yeah, I think he seemed jealous of her.
I
I
don't know what it was. I don't know what his thoughts were telling her that.
I don't know, but it seemed like he was like jealous that she was going to take away his Joey.
So you think he's
Didn't
really
trust him. Yeah,
you,
I don't know. You know what? If anybody was being fake, I kind of felt it was him.
you think it's the friendly uncle?
Yeah, I think he was fake. I think he was just doing it for the show because everybody else was all like, "Oh,"
Yeah, but
and he was just like, "Well."
yeah, but what about her whole she couldn't even look him Joey in the eye when he was leaving, she was leaving. She was just stupid. That's what I'm talking about. She is just too fragile to be on a bachelorette.
I don't think she's fragile. I think she's a strong, powerful woman. Um, but she is like a walking Barbie doll. She's just so, I don't know, kind of perfect in a lot of ways. Um, I don't get the fragility. I mean, eh, you're falling in love with 4 guys. I mean, obviously, you just gotta deal with it. But I think that happened because the uncle put that in her head, because she acts like that every time somebody puts a thought in her head that contradicts what she's thinking. She's got to figure it out. And
I
so
mean,
she
remember
just kind of
she
shuts, instead of like hitting it face on or something like some of them do, she just kind of shuts down and goes into herself.
fragile. Yes, exactly.
Well,
Because
you call it
remember, I mean,
fragile,
Joey
other
would
people
still be
call
on the
it
show if it hadn't
emotionally
been for
available.
goddamn
Or
Aaron tattletaling all over
yeah,
too.
see, he's the one that I'm like, I was glad that he got cut free, and I kind of expected it, because I was just like, in fact I called him, what did I call it? Aaron the Tattletale. Yeah, is what I kept calling him. And so I was fine with him being, oh, well, spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, he got sent home after the hometowns. Um I liked everybody's families except for Joey's family. And the
I like
mother
Joey's
just
family,
was like so,
except for the pervert uncle who wants Joey for himself.
well, that's what almost I'm saying it kind of came across weird that way. But I swear it felt like everybody else, all the families and everything were being genuine. But he was like talking about, well, are you knowing the real Joey? Are you knowing, because he's such a people pleaser. I'm like, dude, you're coming across as creepy and fake. So I don't know. That's just my whatever. But he seemed off. Um, but yeah. So Joey stayed. Aaron left. Doughton is there. I like Doughton's. I like his family. I think his family is really neat. I think he's a neat guy, but I don't know. I'd be surprised if he chose her in the end. And the other guy, the other
Xavier
Xavier, did they even really spend any time together?
on the show.
I'm like, every time they're like, oh, and Xavier, I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about him, because I don't get anything from him. So I don't know. I think right now I would have said that she was going to pick Joey, but after this episode, I don't know. Thoughts?
Ah, yeah, I thought Joey was going to go home.
Yeah, I figured they might keep him just as a surprise, like, because we all thought he was going to go home. But
Right.
but I don't know. Who do you think's gonna win at this point?
The audience when it's over.
Oh, hey, you're the one that keeps making us watch. So
No, no, I'm just disappointed with the whole show.
yeah, it's not my favorite. You know, I can see why you said that Gabby and Rachel were at least more interesting, because they were such whack jobs.
Well, I mean, there was so much drama,
Uh-huh.
and it seems that and who do you think's going to show up next week on or tonight on The Bachelorette?
See, at
Because
first I was thinking it was gonna be crazy
Braden,
guy,
right?
Braden. Yeah. Like, because she's all like, what is he doing here? Blah, 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 blah. Now I think it's the uncle. No.
You may be right.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the uncle's coming to retrieve Joey. Like, he's mine. We're gonna do OnlyFans. Anyway.
Wait, what's their what under what name?
Yeah, exactly. Now see, Joey, I think is really cute, but I do wish he would like do something with his hair. It's so, I don't know,
Yeah, I'm not a
70s
big fan.
housewife.
I'm not a big fan of curly Greg Brady hair. Mr.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that, but it just doesn't look right on him. It's
No, I think it looks fine on him. He reminds me of what was his name? It was a comedian back during the 70s. He
Davy
kind of looks
Jones.
like that guy, but it's that the curly hair thing. It's just oh,
Uh,
look at my locks. Oh, look at my locks. It's like, no, cut your fucking hair. You look like an idiot.
uh, I don't know. Uh,
And you know the pubes look the same way.
Not yet, but I'd be I'd venture to find out. You know, once Charity's done with him, he's gonna need somebody besides his uncle to console him.
Well, the nice thing is because of his uncle, he'll be looking for someone else to console him.
Yeah, exactly. And they should all be queer anyway. Okay. Well, my week. So, started out, of course, with my mom. Wednesday went in for her knee surgery and had a full replacement. And that night she called me and said, "Well, they're releasing me. I can come home." And I went, "Huh?" So my uncle, who was the one who took her up there, and I was very thankful of that. He's been a big help. Went down and said, "Hey, what's going on?" And they said, "No, she's definitely not being released." So that was a relief, but that set everything into crazy time from there on. Um, so then they basically said she's just not really ready, and if it's just going to be one person taking care of her for 24 hours a day, she's just not really ready to come home. So we she was coherent enough to agree that, you know, she was okay with going into rehab for a few days to get herself, you know, more mobile before she came home. And so that was arranged. And then rehab called me and said, "Oh no, there's a big snafu and we need you to fix it." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, because, you know, all these companies and stuff that I'm going to have to deal with who, you know, are only going to be wanting to deal with my mother because I, you know, don't have something that says, yes, I am her representative on Earth." Uh, so yeah, let's try that. Didn't go over super well, still dealing with that stuff. And then she is at the facility, and she has really good times and does her workout and is doing well. But then she has her moments where she's not completely there. And I think that's mostly because of like, you know, some really strong pain meds. So it's probably a good thing because she's not in pain, but sometimes trying to talk to her when she's had her pain meds are, well, it's a little bit difficult, shall we say. Um, so I have been basically having some days of very high anxiety, and it's taken its toll. But I did get some sleep this weekend, thankfully. But that is after I went and saw Cirque du Soleil Corteo, which is making its American debut here. And yeah, well, so of course I told you a little bit in the beginning. This was at Golden One Arena, and all of us who went, all four of us, Mr. Lurie Dean and his friend, and Ouija and myself, we all went, and well, we'd never been there before, and we didn't have to go through the general admission doors, which was pretty neat. Now, the way they set this up was they basically separated the arena in half with the big stage, and then there were curtains that came down on either side, and then the stage was in the middle, and the outside of the stage spun. So they were basically able to do everything that they needed to do while giving everything being seen by both sides with no problem. And it was really interesting because it made you feel like you were just at a really big movie theater, or not movie theater, but play theater, watching a play. And on the other side was the exact same thing, you know. So it was really neat. I'd never been to one of these before. It was very colorful. It was very fun. I kept forgetting that the music and the singing was so good that I kept forgetting that it was live, and they just had people on the sides doing it. It was really fun. They had a a little person, and I mean like the little people who are proportionate, you know. I think I don't know if it's still offensive, but they're classified, I think, as midgets. Um, but they're anyway, this one little woman was hooked up to four big balloons, and then they basically like pushed her out into the audience, and she would float down onto like an audience member, and then they would push her back up, and basically she'd make the circuit around the audience. And but anyway, um there were floating angels and all sorts of acrobatics and stuff like that. It was really, really fun. And then they got to the one where people are like bouncing on the seesaw, you know, like the guys would go up and down on the seesaw and then do flips in the air and stuff. And then there was one where they were supposed to make a transition of one guy's in the air, and the other guy who just came down was supposed to like jump across to the other side, and he slipped and like fell and uh injured himself, and they had to bring the whole show to a stop, and then they had to ask us all to like leave the bill leave our seats and go out while they basically figured out what was going on. But and then we had an intermission during that part.
Wait, where the hell did they put all those people?
I didn't care. But there were different floors of and you went out into a big food court basically. And oh, and then there were like chicken strips and fries and drinks and water bottles that were practically collector bottles. And anyway, it was really neat. But let me tell you, when I found out Laurie Dean actually won the tickets from his work, that's why we went. But when like you see how much those tickets really were per person, I was like, oh my God, I cannot believe that many people that were all there were paying that amount of money and more to see that. It was just insane.
Well, good thing you weren't at the Taylor Swift album. I mean, concert.
Oh, I know. I mean, that's even more bizarre. I mean, heck, I'm supposed to go there with a family, with our friend, and see Pink in 2 months. And I'm just like, the amount just for those tickets, and they're not even that great of tickets, but I'm just like, that's fucking insane. So I don't know. It's just more and more art and entertainment is really truly becoming for the rich. So
Yeah, well, I mean, and we're talking sports events too.
oh yeah, definitely.
Whole thing, it's gotten out of hand. That's why when people go, "Oh, you go to a lot of comedy shows," and I go, "Yeah, because they're affordable."
Yeah.
You know, I get seats for $40 a piece, not $400 a
Yeah.
piece.
And even live theater, it's like you can
Oh
see
yeah,
a lot of live theater for maybe, you know, $25 if you're lucky, or you can get discount tickets on it or whatever. But for the most part, nope, you're not going to see even an independent, you know, like a little community theater show. You're not going to see them for under $30 anymore.
right.
So, all right. I finished Good Omens 2. It is a wonderful series. I saw some people kvetching that they didn't like it because blah blah blah. Well, you're entitled to your opinion, but I don't know how you could end up not liking it, especially with the way that ended. And it definitely ended in a way there needs to be a season 3. There needs to be another installment because it's really good. But everybody on this freaking show is gay, or I mean, it was just a very gay, lesbian, etc. show. So yeah, I don't want to give away any spoilers because it's just out, but it's really good. It's really well done. And then, okay, and just like that, which is on Max. It is for those that don't follow along, it is the Sex and the City show, and it is really good. I caught
Well,
up.
it's the best show of the new season.
I think so. I
Yeah.
caught up on 2 more episodes, and it really is fun. And I do not care. I think I said this last episode too. I don't care that it's a bunch of rich people. That I mean, they just do not. I mean, they're like the oh, I can't afford it type thing, except for one character on there who's the non-binary character. Everybody else is just so stinking rich. It's like they don't the oh, I can't afford that doesn't even cross their lips. Um so and I'm okay with that because I don't need to constantly be reminded that, ugh, I can't afford anything. If I wanted to be depressed about stuff, I'd go watch The Connors. Um so but uh it's just it's fun and sassy and yet poignant and well written, and also taps into our age groups and talks about things that we're dealing with too. So anyway, I was having kind of a bad day when I watched those, and I just wanted to keep watching my girls. So I ended up watching the Sex and the City movie, and I really enjoyed that too. Um, yes, there were some parts of it that were a little like, but
Awful.
no, not awful. Just maybe could have been done better. But this is the Sex and the City movie. So I watched that and I really did enjoy it. And then I decided the next night, even though it was late, I wanted to watch Sex and the City 2. Although I had heard a lot of stuff about, that it was not very good. But I did watch it and I enjoyed it. It was not as good as pretty much anything else. It was the weakest of the entire set of everything that has to do with that. It was the weakest, but I still had a fun time with it. So, and I love that, there's lots of really hot male nudity in it. That was fun too. Uh, so there you go with that. I watched the Great British Baking Show, The Professionals. And the thing is I really like the contestants and watching the art and the way that they do stuff on there. But the judges just they don't irritate me, but they seem I do kind of roll my eyes at them. They seem like caricatures, especially the little Asian woman. I mean, the phrases and stuff that she comes up with and the way that she points at them and she tries to be funny, and it just comes off like she's a caricature of what of herself almost. um it's just silly but fun. And almost every single show, one of their great big things, don't do it unless you got a dick ready. You better not do it. That's right. I'm looking at you. Anyway, there's but every time they build these amazing things for everything to sit on, and inevitably almost every one of them collapses. So you're not there yet. Have you watched that show at all? This is season 2, I think, or
No.
10. I don't know. All right. Well, and then I watched a couple episodes of RuPaul's Drag Race season 13. That's the one that Candy Muse was on, and I've already watched it a long time ago. But it was really comforting, and seeing Candy, like after seeing All Stars and then going back and watching her, I don't dislike her as much on season 13 as I did the first time I watched it. But I know they were kind of trying to make her out to be the bad guy of the season, but I just didn't feel it as much when I went back and watched it. I also finished out the Summer Baking Championship season 1, and yeah, well, Tom's yawning for you don't know.
I can't help it.
And frankly, on the Summer Baking Championship, it was kind of a yawn. I mean,
Yeah.
Jesse did a good job. The judges were fine. The bakers were fine. They did good. But honestly, except for the rainbow show, uh, I don't know. Just it was kind of boring.
Yeah, I thought so as well.
Yeah. And then, well, that's basically it. I've been doing a lot of other stuff than watching TV. So
Please, you watch so much shit, it counters mine.
actually, no, not so much.
Oh, are you kidding me? Because you're watching multiple episodes of all these things. I see one episode.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't understand.
So let's see what Miss Manners has to talk about.
Okay, that sounds like a great idea. All right, well, dear Miss Manners, how does one deal with oversharing from a friend? Trying to figure that out for years. Uh, I have a friend who turns almost every conversation into a chance to use me as a free therapist. She tells me in great detail about her very active dating life, her feelings about each date, plus her tedious self-analysis of every doubt, feeling, and changing mood. She asks me for my insight and advice about every trivial event in her life. She rarely asks how I'm doing, and when she does, it's obviously that my life bores her. I was waiting for you to yawn. Is there a way to change this dynamic, or should I just ghost her? Can I end this friendship? If you want to.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it's much of a friendship. So
Yeah, sounds like you don't like her, so
all
move
you're doing is
on.
bitching about her. So I would say,
Yeah.
go for it.
You don't sound like that interesting of a person anyway.
Well, I mean, because if your friend finds you boring, you're obvious, and we find you boring, then you're boring.
Yeah. What else is there to say?
Yeah.
All right, gentle reader, what friendship? No one has discovered a pleasant way of breaking off a bond when one party does not suspect anything has gone wrong. Ghosting, cutting things off without explanation, is considered cowardly and cruel. But issuing a report card with all the reasons that the once liked person is no longer tolerable is worse. Forget the idea that such a critique will inspire them to reform and go on with a happy life. If they try, what happens when they discover that the relationship was already beyond repair? Thus, the "it's not you, it's me" approach, which is tactful if worn, Miss Manners prefers a modern version of ghosting, which is drifting off. Just be less and less available, but she admits that while it sometimes has to be done, there is no truly charming way of doing it.
He's much politer than we were.
Well, that's why she's Miss Manners.
Ah.
And you're the bitch. Okay. Well, speaking of bitches that we love, Timothy asks, hey Chubs, ask white that look. Ask white or wheat meat. I can do this. White or wheat bread as a kid.
It depended on what I was eating.
Yeah, actually same. Yeah.
Because I didn't mind wheat, but if I'm eating egg salad, I don't want wheat.
Yeah, I don't mind.
And also my mom made this great roast beef that had to be a white bread with mayonnaise, and that was it. It was nothing else on it.
Nice.
Actually, I did like alfalfa sprouts on it later on, but as a kid, nothing. And grilled cheese sandwiches need to be white bread. But I mean, if I'm having, you know, I guess mostly white. Yeah, I guess it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah,
We
I don't remember wheat being in our house as a kid, actually. And it was
Yeah,
always white bread as a kid.
it wasn't until later when they really started, the 7 grains and that kind of.
Mhm.
That's when we started going with more of a healthy bread.
Yeah, yeah. It wasn't probably until my mom and I were out on our own. And actually, there was a point where wheat bread was actually a little cheaper. And then, well, that switched, but yeah. All right. Hey, Chubs, do you sing in the shower?
I do not. I
No.
have, like, sometimes I pretend I'm Beef from Phantom of the Paradise, and he has a song he sings in the shower. So
Oh.
then that's kind of fun. But usually I get Sean going, "Why are you making so much noise? It's a shower." Uh,
He doesn't understand living with an artist.
yeah.
But when I was younger, I think I probably did, but not now. I'm usually listening to political shows on my phone or the Swanner and Judd podcast, and you don't sing along to that for sure. You usually just yell at the phone, like, "Are you serious? What are you thinking?" Anyway, all right. Well, what's in your lunchbox? Mr. Moose wrote in, and he said, "Have been working in the yard all morning. Needed food, but wanted it before I even took a shower. So went out for fast food. Chicken tenders, Cajun chicken, sandwich, slaw, fries. Unhealthy, but oh so good. Back to work." Yum. That's like a really good thing. Speaking of, I went, Lawrence went to Popeyes last night and brought me some 5-piece chicken strips, and they
Yeah.
were awful. They were dry and overcooked. There was hardly any meat. It was just awful. And it was Popeyes. I've never had a bad Popeyes.
I don't know what to tell you. I haven't either.
Yeah. But that looked really good, Moose. And there's more. Beef and broccoli is one of the lower calorie options at a Chinese restaurant. But broccoli is a go-to food for weightlifters. Low calorie, high fiber, and filling.
And
Over the years,
it makes your farts smelly when you lunge. Oh,
delightful. Over the years, I've eaten an acre of broccoli. I'm sick of broccoli. I ordered beef and broccoli, but had them substitute mushrooms and put only half the sauce. Swimming in the salty sauce just doesn't work. All this was good,
it looked
but
good.
all that brown doesn't make a good picture. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, it does. It
it
looks
doesn't make a bad picture either.
no.
I understand where he wants a little pop of color. You think they could have gotten a colorful, more colorful plate to put it
Yeah.
on. But
Red
yeah,
pepper.
I probably have eaten that much broccoli as well. I like broccoli.
Yeah. I think it's probably, if I'm going to eat a vegetable, especially a green, broccoli or spinach. But yeah, broccoli more than cauliflower. Which, by the way, if you,
Cauliflower is not green.
I know, dear, but I'm saying if you get the cauliflower pizza crusts at Winco, they're hella expensive. They're small and really expensive. I'd rather just get a head of broccoli for about $5 cheaper and zip it up and do it myself.
A broccoli crust? That's interesting.
Cauliflower, broccoli.
Oh, you misspoke.
Yeah, well, that happens a lot lately. I'm sure Nephi will be happy to tell you all about it.
Hey, don't you want to know what song is from Phantom of the Paradise?
Didn't you just say buff or rough or something?
No, I didn't. I didn't say anything. It was Beef's song. The character Beef sings a song.
Okay. So it was a song.
It's called Life at Last.
Oh, it sounds like a nice song.
Yeah. Life at last. Salutations from the other side. I can see that you're the devil's bride. Okay, anyway, it's a good.
Did Meatloaf play that?
No.
Oh.
No, it was played by Graham. He's really good. He and it's funny because he plays a gay character, but he's got a big baritone voice. So he comes across as, when he sings, he comes across as being real butch, but when he's not singing, he comes across as a big queer. Really fun character.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
All right.
I haven't taken the beef and mushrooms off my iPad yet.
Oh, I know, it's beautiful.
It is.
You can send us what's in your lunchbox over at chubsgonewild@gmail.com.
And what happens when they do?
Then they get something that tells them that Golden Rule Services want you to know about an important tool in preventing you from contracting HIV. PrEP is a medication proven to be 99% effective when preventing HIV infection. To learn more about PrEP, visit sacgrs.org. And of course, if you do send us something in your lunchbox, well, then you can get entered into the Halloween contest.
Well, you didn't say that PrEP works for all.
That is true. It does work for all.
And how do I know
Something that we still have to remind people. You can do that by going over to sacgrs.org and
or just looking at your background.
Oh, that's true. PrEP works for all. Well, find Tom's other podcasts at sorenjudd.com. Find my books at justkisstheguy.com. Find all our links at allmylinks.com/chubsgonewild. And give us a call at
408-69. Chubs.
Yay. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We hope you are having a wonderful week, and we will be happy to catch you next time.
And remember, if anybody wins the big lotto thing that's going today, it's $1.5 million, I think, $1 billion, I think, something like that. Don't forget your friends at Chubs.
That's true. Yeah, that would be really nice. Employ us. Yeah. All right. We'll catch you later. Bye.
Good day, esteemed listeners. Pray mark your diaries for the 15th to the 17th of September, for you shall want to be in attendance at pride48.com. We cordially invite you to our grand denouement, the 15th, and indeed final annual podcasting gala. Join us as we traverse the kaleidoscope of our community, featuring delightful LGBTQ and LGBTQ-friendly podcasts from the illustrious Pride 48 lineup, as well as a few surprises. It's your last opportunity to be part of this extraordinary event. Should you desire further particulars, visit the Pride 48 website. Don't forget, dear listener, September 15th to the 17th. Don't miss your opportunity to partake in this splendid celebration, only at pride48.com.
A network of inclusion.
UnivazPods.net.
This show is part of the Pride 48 network.
This has been a For Fuck's Sake production.